You are now watching The Beach.
One of my biggest gripes with the Nintendo Switch 2 is that the Joy-Con 2s only come in one color. One of the most fun aspects of the original Nintendo Switch is the customization. Nintendo released so many different colored Joy-Cons, and you could really make your Nintendo Switch stand out or be your own. Day one, you not only had gray, but also the neon red and blue, and other colors like neon yellow followed shortly after. I was thinking maybe the recent Nintendo Direct could be the opportunity for them to reveal more colors, but no, the reveal of $50 amiibo was more important. That's it, I did not want to wait any longer to customize my Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo, you can take your sweet time to release more colors, but that ain't stopping me, because Gator Garage does what Nintendo don't. I am thrilled to announce that custom Joy-Con 2s are finally here. In this episode of Gator Garage, I'll be going over how I made them and what the experience was like. You might think that this is just a basic shell swap, but these custom Joy-Con 2s have a major improvement, and overall, a review of the custom Joy-Con 2s and how they compare to the originals. Before getting into it, make sure to subscribe and comment what color you'd make your Joy-Con 2s. If you're interested in getting custom Joy-Con 2s, they're available on my Etsy store Gator Garage. The way it works is you select whichever color you want, and I'll make them for you. You'll get them pre-built, so you can leave the modding and disassembly all to me. Or if you feel comfortable doing the mod yourself, you can get the kit directly via Extreme Rate Store. Use my code DEMEECH for a discount. Both the Etsy links and Extreme Rate Store will be in the description. What you'll need to make custom Joy-Con 2s are a pair of Joy-Con 2s, goes without saying, but most importantly, you'll need a custom shell kit. These Joy-Con 2 shells are made by Extreme Rate. Already, we're off to a very good start. I've been using Extreme Rate shells and kits for almost all of my customizations, and I swear by them. They offer shells that are of such high quality that they're even better than Nintendo's own shells. All of the custom Joy-Cons I sell on my Etsy store Gator Garage use Extreme Rate shells. They're ridiculously good, and they have a ton of color options for the original Joy-Cons. I've tried other aftermarket shells, but the quality is subpar. The plastic on aftermarket shells just feels and looks cheap, and the fit isn't right. Never again. But with Extreme Rate shells, the plastic is sturdy, and the fit is perfect. For the Joy-Con 2s, knowing that the replacement shells are made by Extreme Rate and aren't some no-name shells, I was confident the quality would be on point. For my first pair of custom Joy-Con 2s, I wanted to keep the tradition going. My first pair of custom original Joy-Cons I ever made are Atomic Purple. Not only is the Atomic Purple color a blast from the past, but it looks so cool. I'm a huge fan of transparent tech, and I was very interested in seeing what the internals of the Joy-Con 2s would look like. But there are more color options available, with my favorites being matte white, matcha green, and even transparent glow-in-the-dark. I had zero doubt with the shell quality, but if there was anything I was intimidated by going into this project, it's simply the fact that I've never made custom Joy-Con 2s before. What if there are a bunch of fragile ribbon cables? Is it going to be a significantly difficult project? But that's the fun of customization. You don't know until you dive in. There's only one way to find out, so let's get making! I've been doing system and controller customization for almost a decade now. My first customization was making a transparent orange Game Boy Color back in 2016. And I've been making custom Joy-Cons for a very long time. This is something I'm very experienced in. But it didn't happen overnight. I still remember vividly doing my first customizations and how they'd be for a newcomer. It took me a few hours to customize the Joy-Con 2s, but I was very patient and followed the guide thoroughly. That's the thing with customization. I used to be hasty starting off, and that led to easily preventable mistakes. As long as you take your time, be patient, and follow the guide, you should have no problem with the customization process. The process comes down to this. You'll need to gently take off the side panels, remove some screws, prying between the ZL and ZR buttons, and then the rest comes down to mostly just removing screws and unlocking ribbon cables. It's a very similar process to customizing the original Joy-Cons, but there are some improvements. There are less pesky springs that go flying. There's one spring when you're assembling the Joy-Con 2 rail that can be a little finicky, but there aren't as many annoying little springs as the originals, and because the Joy-Con 2s are larger, there's more space to work with. It's overall a less stressful experience customizing the Joy-Con 2s compared to the originals. The only reason it took me a few hours to customize the Joy-Con 2s is because I was very cautious and followed the guide bit by bit. Once I start doing custom Joy-Con 2 pairs frequently, I can easily do this by memory just like with the original Joy-Cons. Like, I could probably do these within about an hour or so. Now this isn't a race, and you should take as much time as you need with the customization process, but I can't stress enough that while there are a lot of steps, it's not difficult. If you've never done controller customization before, I would recommend starting off with something like an original Nintendo Switch Pro controller. There's a lot of space to work with, and it's a very beginner-friendly mod. Then, after that, you can graduate to either custom Joy-Cons or Joy-Con 2s once you're fully comfortable. But if you're experienced with controller customizations, or have done a pair of original Joy-Cons before, you'll have no problem with the Joy-Con 2s. Just be gentle and be patient. The only thing that caught me off guard is that you really need to pry out the battery. It's adhered really strongly, and you'll need a spudger to help pry it out. I felt like Donkey Kong trying to save Oddrock from the ground. There's also a lot of foam and adhesive that are used for padding the battery door and putting on the mouse control pads. One thing I'm almost certain I'll get asked is, can you remove the blue and orange accents around the analog sticks? And the answer is, not at the moment. They're a part of the analog sticks themselves, so until we get replacement analog sticks, the accents are here to stay. But personally, I really like them. They set the Nintendo Switch 2 apart from the original Nintendo Switch. Just like how the neon blue and red Joy-Cons are iconic, the blue and orange accents have become an icon of the Nintendo Switch too. Even if there was an option to remove them, I'd probably keep them. The best part of the Joy-Con 2 customization experience is that both of the Joy-Con 2s are pretty much identical. The original left and right Joy-Cons were built differently from each other. The process is similar, but it's a bit different. But after customizing the left Joy-Con 2, I felt very comfortable with the right customization process, because it's pretty much the same, just mirrored. Not only did I want radical atomic purple Joy-Con 2s, but I also wanted a feature not present with the standard Joy-Con 2s. My biggest gripe with the Joy-Con 2s is the lack of a D-pad. I get Nintendo is in this fantasy land where the main way people play multiplayer is passing a sideways Joy-Con to a friend. If I'm going to play multiplayer, it's on the TV where I hand either a Pro controller or grip Joy-Con 2s to a friend. So the sacrifice of not having a D-pad for such a rare multiplayer situation is absolutely not worth it to me. I'd rather have a D-pad and settle with a D-pad if I ever encounter a situation where I either need a sideways Joy-Con 2 or for multiplayer and tabletop mode. I needed a D-pad as soon as possible, and Extreme Rate supplied us with the goods. There aren't as many D-pad shell color options available, but there are a ton of transparent ones, and even some solid colors such as a matte white, pink, and black. If there's a color I want that has a D-pad version, I'm always going to go for the D-pad version. The D-pad mod is just placing the D-pad and putting on the rubber cover used for the buttons. No soldering, no insane witchcraft needed. It's actually easier than putting the buttons back into place. And we're done! We now have Atomic Purple Joy-Con 2s. I gotta say, these look tubular. Not only is purple one of my favorite colors, but seeing the internals of the Joy-Con 2s is so cool. Whether it's as classic as a Game Boy Color, or as modern as a Nintendo Switch 2, everything looks cooler in Atomic Purple. There's no doubt these Joy-Con 2s look amazing, but how do they compare to standard Joy-Con 2s? The material used for the shells is transparent plastic, meaning that it's going to have a different feel to it. Now with the original Joy-Cons, the plastic used for Nintendo's own shells was not great and frankly so slippery! So the extreme rate shells, no matter which ones you used, they were going to be an upgrade no matter what. But with the Joy-Con 2s, Nintendo's own plastic shells feel really good. It's actually similar to Extreme Rate's soft touch plastic, which gives it a sort of rubberized texture. With the Atomic Purple shells, they're not slippery and they feel great. The feel is just different, which is to be expected, but it's worth bringing up for those who haven't experienced custom controllers before. Assembling everything, unsurprisingly, went smoothly. The only hiccup was with the LED indicator. The LEDs didn't show up, but once I adjusted the ribbon cable and locked it firmly into place, everything went smoothly. But that was my own doing, because the fit of these Atomic Purple shells is perfect. Extreme Rate made sure these shells would be top-notch, and they absolutely delivered. Since it's a shell swap, you'll be able to experience all of the new features of the Joy-Con 2s. Mouse controls, HD Rumble 2, they're the same controllers, just with a much cooler shell. You could opt to use the buttons that come with the kit, but I wanted to keep the black buttons. I've used Extreme Rate's buttons before, and they're of great quality. Just a design preference going with the originals. The only thing I would have liked from this kit is a classic black D-pad. Extreme Rate included a black D-pad with their transparent shells for the original Joy-Cons, and I would have loved the option here. The Atomic Purple one still looks really nice, but it would have been nice to have the option for a black D-pad to match the buttons. The shells not only look and feel amazing, but they also fit perfectly. From a shell standpoint, they get 11 out of 10. They're that good. But how about that D-pad? The D-pad is such a game changer. Playing retro games and 2D platformers without a D-pad always has felt so off to me. But now, I feel right back at home. The D-pad itself is excellent. There aren't any false diagonals, and it doesn't feel mushy like some aftermarket D-pads. I played Super Mario Bros. Wonder using the D-pad here, and it was perfect. If you've experienced Extreme Rate's D-pad mod for the original Joy-Cons and loved that, you're also going to love it with the Joy-Con 2s. So there you have it. This concludes my most anticipated episode of Gator Garage yet. I'm thrilled with how these custom Joy-Con 2s turned out, and I'd highly recommend them to anyone wanting either a different color or wanting something to reflect their personality. This is only the beginning, and Extreme Rate is planning on releasing even more colors in the future. If you want to get the kit and do the customization yourself, you can order the Joy-Con 2 shells directly from Extreme Rate's website. Make sure to use the code DEMEECH to get a discount. But if you want the custom Joy-Con 2s pre-built, they're available on my Etsy store Gator Garage. You can get either the standard version or the D-pad version. So how are you going to customize your Nintendo Switch 2? Special shout out to Super Squirrel Studios, Reese, Ultra Bomber 64, Fast Fan 07, Soshi the Yoshi, Generic Rust, Colin Wickham, Paper Brothers, Marcus TZB, Glitzy Terra Mevins, and the Ender Kirby for being such awesome channel members. You can get a shout out at the end of the video too if you become a channel member. Thanks for watching, and keep calm and dada on.